I tell you what I'm going to tell you, and the stuff that I found out, believe me. And I'm sorry in advance for any background noise, but I'm actually on holiday at the moment, and no, definitely not Tenerife. With all the apparent evidence that we've all seen, been shown, heard, read, been sent, from day one when he first went missing, that CCTV in the nightclub, right up until the 29th day when his apparent remains were found, coupled with the fact of the intel that I've received from Tenerife, and they are risking themselves to get me this intel, the truth about what happened to Jay Slater may well have been staring us in the face the whole time. Firstly, Lucy and Brad are good friends with Tom Hilton. Lucy and Brad meet Jay Slater at Greenfields. Now, there is only 1 year's worth of social media pics with Brad and his apparent best friend, Jay Slater. Chris Tenerife and Luggy are heavily involved in the society, as it's called, or as we know it, the mafia in Tenerife. Now, Luggy will probably be the next one to disappear because he's pissing a lot of people off at the moment, but Chris Tenerife is tripping himself up all over the place, and there's lots of people who are swearing they aren't involved who actually are heavily involved. Chris Tenerife claimed on one of his TikToks that no civilians were allowed to go up to the mountains for the first 2 weeks and help with the search unless they were called up by the Guardia Civil, which is absolute crap. It's just him covering his tracks.
We weren't investigating Jay's disappearance. We weren't up in the area where Jay went missing for the first 2 weeks. Why? Because specialist teams, the Guardia Civil, it was treated as a missing person's case. They were out searching. When there was a call for volunteers to go up and help, I had already done research and I knew at some point there was going to be a call for volunteers. I went up as a volunteer to try to help the authorities to find Jay so that that boy could be taken home and given the send-off he deserved, and so that the family could have some peace.
Authorities just find Jay and give him the send-off that he deserves. Thought he was just missing. How did he know he was dead? One from Tom Hilton, covering his tracks. I'm nothing to do with this. Apparently he was in Tenerife during the search. And this is our friend Tom Hilton showing that he was in Tenerife at the time. Check the date, 18th of June. And here's more evidence of volunteers helping out with the search. Check the date. Chris Tenerife just told us that no one was allowed to help with the search. Then there's the police doing their job, pulling over vans in South Tenerife. A car company on the 20th of June offering free cars to go up to the mountains to help with the search for people that couldn't get up there. I thought Chris Tenerife said nobody was allowed to go up there. Oh, and it's not an Airbnb, it's Booking.com. And strangely, there's 2 reviews giving excellent reviews. I wonder who that could be. And conveniently, someone stayed in that Booking.com on the 29th of June and the 27th of July for 4 nights each time. Same person, obviously fake name. And there's your fake name it was booked under. And in this clip, you'll see the police in the black and red checky white vans. Remember I said on a previous video that the black and red police only deal with serious crime and don't get involved with missing persons. And this video shows the distance between the road and the ravine where he was found, okay? Now, I think Marianne stated on one of her TikToks, unfortunately, that it was a 20-minute walk. See if you guys think this is a 20-minute walk. There's also a picture of Tom Hilton and Brad standing over a grave, holding hands, showing friendship. There is no long-term evidence of Lucy and Brad's friendship with Jay anywhere. Chris Tenerife and Luggy were called up to Mascot to cover this up. that Airbnb or Booking.com was just a decoy, and he was taken and held on that boat. They staged a fall, an accident. Most things that everyone's focusing on has been staged. It was all just a decoy to throw you off the scent. The Airbnb, it was all staged. Lucy May wasn't allowed to show her face on camera, or else she would have been next. It was Brad at that Airbnb. The mafia own that Booking.com or Airbnb, and the lady next door, she knows full well the protocol. That's why when Warren and Zach turned up, she put her hand in their faces, put the chairs in quickly and got in and shut the doors. She knew. Come on, she was an old lady who ran a business up in the mountains, old school. Forget social media. How on earth would she know who Zach and Warren were unless she'd been told? Ayub, Rocky, Lucy May, Brad, they all work for the society along with hundreds more, okay? Some are mules, some are runners, okay? Now I believe that this was a premeditated revenge attack on Jay Slater for what happened with Tom Hilton as a favour for Lucy May. She went to the society or the mafia and asked for a favour, and they obliged because they had the means to do it in Tenerife. You can't get away with this in the UK because the police are everywhere, investigations everywhere, and the rules are too strict. But in Tenerife, it's perfect. So when Lucy May approaches the mafia for this favour, they don't even think about it or question it. It's bread and butter to them, but they want something in return. Maybe a 30 grand GoFundMe account. How about that? Oh, and just for the record, there are lots of members of the society or mafia that operate on all these pages on TikTok, and they try their best to throw people off the scent by, like, you know, degrading